So.
All right. First thing I want to say is that was awesome.
What?
What you just sent me.
Oh. Yeah, I sent it to you too, Patrick, so you could look at it. Patrick Dearson.
It's about time you let me in. I was damn near waiting 30 seconds.
Dude, this is ridiculous. It just suddenly added I use the same invite every week, and it suddenly added a friggin' waiting room back in.
Yeah, it's a new Zoom thing. You can't have a freaking meeting without it. It's ruined my life. I mean, that may be a bit melodramatic, but it's a pain in the ass.
Wildly.
I have had meetings. I had 2 of them today, and I didn't have waiting rooms. Maybe it's
if they have password, you can either have a passcode or a waiting room.
I think it's maybe over a certain number of people because, like, I've only had meetings, a couple people in them and stuff.
And it depends what kind of license you have and crap like that, but they've made it a lot harder.
Holy shit! Oh, admit all. Ah, there you go. That helped. What a pain in the ass! I got to sit here and watch this window now.
It's a good first world problem.
It is. How you doing?
Hi, guys.
Who's that? That sounds like Lynn.
Hi.
Ben, you're not in the office, are you?
Me?
That's quite busy Zoom, isn't it?
Yeah, you, Ben.
36.
I'm on the roof.
Oh, really? No, I'm not in the office.
Yes.
It's not that bad, Herrick. Come down.
It's actually lovely up here.
Oh,
Gin and tonic
you're
and
in that
cigars.
office. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I'm in that office.
I had lunch earlier on the roof, and it was quite charming.
This is our
Yeah, it's lovely.
This is our 27th Zoom call, and now suddenly everyone's talking all at once. Jesus. We've forgotten. I'm sorry that I'm preoccupied, but I have to keep hitting frigging admit. God damn it. Why doesn't everybody just come all at once?
Would be too
Phrasing.
easy.
That's Marsha.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Herrick. Nice view.
Thanks.
So where are you, Herrick? On the roof?
I'm on 41st and Broadway at the WeWork,
okay.
the home office, as it were.
That's still open?
They're all still open, man. They're just empty. It's lovely, actually. You don't have to compete for anything.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I can show you Bryant Park. Hang on. Yeah. Look, Bryant Park. Yay.
Wow.
Is that lovely roof where we had cocktails once, oh so long ago?
It is, and we're still having cocktails right now. Why aren't you here?
Attaboy.
Is that WeWork, Herrick?
Yes.
It's a nice roof for
41st and
cocktails.
Broadway, Times Square.
Nice roof for cocktails. Is Chris McMean there?
It is. Not to my knowledge. He could be.
No, he's already headed back to Jersey. He was complaining about falling asleep while driving. I said, let the Tesla drive. That's what it's for.
Right.
He has a Tesla.
Oh, right.
I was just thinking.
Kevin's office is here, too. We've got, like, so many people.
No, I'm not there anymore, Herrick.
Oh, you left? You couldn't be a roommate with Chris anymore?
Well, no, I'm not actually technically a Christy Lights employee.
Whatever.
I don't think anyone is. Are they, Kevin?
Yeah, no, I'm furloughed, so I'm a freelancer. I can do what I want. But I hardly ever go to that office since they moved into the tiny office.
Is there ever a day that you don't do what you want, Kevin?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, so I saw Mr. Steve Warren was here. And I think everybody's been seeing your incredible pictures from the stuff you guys are doing in the UK today, or were doing. I don't know if you still are, but
that's really lovely to hear that, Marcel. We've had like a really intense day down here as well. So yesterday was a thing at Parliament. I have to say, I think completely smashed it. My girlfriend made me a hula hoop protest banner, so we could hang 4 banners off the same fucking hoop. It was an absolute winner. I think we might patent it, man. We're out this business now. I've had enough.
Patent the hula hoop. There you go.
It was a total
I think you might be a bit late on that one. Patenting the hula hoop.
Damn, story of my life, man.
Yeah.
Story of my life.
True.
Hula hoop protest
Visual
banner.
imagery
Where's that?
attached
Hey.
to that was wonderful.
So look,
he's
this is
getting
one
mugged.
of this is
He's being mugged
one of
while we're
our
on the call.
crew, friend here. So basically, everyone's been putting up lights on Brighton seafront. We've been doing a projection on this tower, this huge tower that's down here.
Well, show us.
been quite incredible. No, it's done, man. We've just done the D-rig. It's fantastic. Later, I'm gonna catch you. I'm jumping back into this. Take care, man. But basically on Marcel, it's been pissing with rain, man. It's been a bit emotional because we've had hundreds of people lining up on the seafront, all holding their phones. I don't know, something like 35 installations through the town. We did a projection with animation. So I got my friends to make an animation up this whole tower where some DJs normally play at the top, called the 360i. You fuck off. Crew, what can you do with crew? Fuck off. Talking. And as I say, we've just done the D-rig, but the 2 hours while it went on, the heavens opened, man. It was just like all these guys and girls standing out in the pouring rain, supporting the cause.
But it looks like it went.
Footage.
It looks like it went. It looks like it went really well, though. Looks like you guys had great turnouts at all these events, and
I think so. I was just wondering what happened with all the others, because I've been so involved with this one down here in Brighton with the projection that you obviously, so far I haven't seen any of the rest, but they've got an editing suite and a big van next to me.
Oh, really?
I've got another bunch of friends sort of just trying to produce a video for tomorrow morning. So hopefully you'll see something pretty soon.
That's very cool. Yeah, Coy has been doing a good job keeping us all up to date. And, your website, you've got that really cool wall thing going on your website.
Yeah, so interesting. I had a quick look this afternoon.
Yeah, really, really neat. Good job, guys. Very cool. Are you drunk yet?
Marcel, I'm driving back to London now. Once the editors are finished, so I'm going to sign off and say goodbye.
Right. Thanks for jumping in, Steve. We appreciate
Don't answer your question. Yes, he's drunk already.
Yeah.
Ciao, Steve.
I can't wait. Take care.
See you, bud.
Take
Ciao,
care.
Steve.
I'm in the van. Take care, everybody.
He's in the van.
Vicky, kudos to you for coming up with the idea and emailing Coy out on that wall. It was really,
yeah, that was cool.
They ran with it. It was great.
Well, thank you. I can't take credit for the idea. That was the Canadians. I just thought it was a fantastic way for us to be able to support the global initiative without it really, being difficult for us to show support. So luckily they were.
Well, it was a good idea and it caught on. So bravo for you for pushing it.
Oh,
yeah, it was cool. So one of the things I wanted to mention, two things actually. One is that I'm hearing of more shows and some larger ones starting to pop up. So a little bird told me yesterday that KISS is doing a big thing in Dubai for New Year's. And I don't know, is Cosmo here?
No, Cosmo's working.
Cosmo's been posting all kinds of little hints about AC/DC today. So he told me a secret earlier, and I won't share that, but there's definitely things coming with AC/DC, which is really cool. So, I mean, I think if some of the big guys and girls and whoever start coming out, that's going to make a difference for all of us, obviously, safely, without getting, rooms full of people sick, of course. On a downside, in the past 48 hours, have been contacted by 3 different asset companies that do asset liquidations in our industry, on some pretty large liquidations for some companies. And I'm under NDAs, so I can't share with you who those companies are, but it's very sad and somewhat shocking. I mean, I guess it can't be that shocking when we've virtually been out of business since, March.
Yep.
I say virtually out of business, but really out of business since March. And, but yeah, it's depressing. I mean, just seeing, these massive lists of inventory come across my desk from companies who have just said, you know what, screw it, I'm done.
I found out last week my former employer filed Chapter 7 is liquidating everything. That was a company that was around for 46 years.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah, I forgot exactly how many years they'd been around, but a lot of people started there too.
Which company is that?
Best Tech.
Sorry?
Best Tech Lighting and Staging.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
That the one Kevin used to work on Long Island?
Yeah. Yeah, I was there
Whoa.
for 24 years.
That takes me back to like my childhood and how many best tech stages I built.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Romaine brothers all started there.
Yeah.
And John
Yep.
McCarthy.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's
Big bummer. Big time bummer.
it's a drag. And, you know, I think most people have been seeing this Westbury from Canada, the list from Westbury, all of their rental assets have been purchased by a liquidator.
Yeah.
So that's getting tossed around. So yeah, it's a drag, but
Not over yet. It's far from over.
That's the crazy part, Chris, is that, you know, we're probably still early in that part. I mean, sadly, I knew that that was coming. I think most of us knew that that was coming, but
Right.
literally, I mean, 3 companies in the last 48 hours. So sad. But I did see that Mr. Strickland has just joined us, I think. Michael, are you here?
Yes,
Hey, fresh off your call, do tell.
I have news.
We always count on that.
Who are the 3 companies? I just jumped in.
Best Tech, Westbury, and I forgot who the third was.
There's a couple other ones. Yeah, there's
a bunch.
I was just saying that I've met with 3 liquidators in the past 48 hours on 3 separate inventories that and that's besides Westbury and Best Tech. So yeah, I mean it's starting to happen, the stuff that we knew was going to happen, and it's a bummer. So
Okay, well, let me bring you up to speed. I just got off the phone with Senator Young and Senator Bennett, who are the authors of Restart. For those of you that got my email last Friday, I told you what was not in the bill. I didn't tell you what was in the bill, just simply because the bill's not going to pass. Not because I have not because of my wishes or desires, but it's just not. There are a number of issues with it. First and foremost, the top line, the cost is too high for the Senate. And there are a lot of unacceptable things in there for the Senate. The good news is that the House did reduce the money for cities and states to $483 billion, which that was always thought to be the big sticking point. And for those of you that have followed me long enough, I've known forever they were going to get to that number. So they got to the 483 for the cities and states, but there's still money in there for, and I'm not taking sides on any of these issues, so please, I'm just a parrot sharing with you. There's all kinds of money in there for the marijuana industry. There's money in there to pay illegal immigrants. There's things of that nature that are problematic for the Senate side. On top of that, they put in the Restaurants Act, which provides $120 billion just to the restaurant industry. So while they've assured us all along they're not going to do carve-outs and they're not going to do anything for any specific industry, they put in the restaurant industry, and then, as you now know probably, they put in Save Our Stages. And Save Our Stages benefits venues, managers, agents, and producers, but no one beyond that. So there's 2 notable carve-outs in there. They also stuck in $28 billion for the airlines, which both sides had agreed previously that $28 billion for the airlines would be a standalone and would be passed by unanimous consent. So the airlines are all up in the air. Wow, that's bad. The airlines are up in arms because they now feel that their money is captive, being used as a lever as part of this larger relief bill, when they had been assured that their money would be passed as a standalone, just as it was previously. The money for the airlines is a loan. It's not a grant. It's a loan that will be paid back, just like the first tranche. The money for the airlines will get the airlines through March, April of next year to pay their people. So they've accumulated several things in there. The good news is, as I'm told, if that bill, Heroes 2, as we'll call it, if Heroes 2 goes to a vote today, I am told that will indicate that one side or the other, if not both, have walked away. It hasn't gone to a vote as of 3 minutes ago. They're still talking. The Senate has crafted and is crafting their version of it. It will not be 2.4 trillion. It will be probably 1.7, 1.8 trillion, which again is a number I shared with you 2 months ago. I don't know what they're going to put in. I don't know what they're going to take out. One of the interesting things about the restaurant folks, who have a phenomenal lobby, as I've shared with you, not only is there $120 billion in money just for restaurants, but they also lowered the PPP threshold to 25% loss income. Well, virtually any business in this environment qualifies for PPP at a 25% threshold. The interesting thing is restaurants can not only get the restaurant money from the Restaurant Act, they can then turn around and dip into the PPP pool. So restaurants would come out of this, if the Restaurant Act stays in there, in an extraordinarily good position, because they would have access to all the money that they needed. I have explained repeatedly, because there is a big misconception amongst the legislative leaders, and believe it or not, even people within our own space, that Save Our Stages does not save our industry. There was another organization started about 2 weeks ago called Save Live Events. Shoot, I forget the name of it, but it was stood up because of this confusion. And probably most of you on this phone call are not in that circumstance where Save Our Stages would help you. And Save Our Stages is great, and I'm all for it, but there's more than that. Now let's take the conversation broader. Restart isn't just for entertainment. While we would make up probably 60 to 70% of the people that need it, you got to imagine that shoe stores and bakeries and watch shops and small businesses that you don't even think about are out there, and they need help. You have to layer on top of that, in all of the cities that have had extraordinary amounts of civil unrest, all of the businesses in that area were shut for 3 months due to COVID, and then they were shut for 3 months due to civil unrest. So there are a lot of businesses that are shut that have nothing to do with whether their industry is back or not. And so when you lump all that together, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday, I received a phenomenal amount of phone calls, which I've shared with some of you, from primarily Democratic House members who are beside themselves because they are afraid of not being reelected. And in their districts, all of the small businesses that are not covered by anything in that package are very, very vocal and very, very active. And they reached out to me and said, can you please energize or re-energize the entertainment base, because your voice is the biggest. Please do something else. Please do something more. So that's kind of where we are in terms of getting off of the phone just now with Young and Bennett, some things that they said. They reiterated what I already knew from conversations, which is there are currently 56 senators signed on, one more coming, but they have been assured, as have I, that if this thing was to go to a vote purely on restart, which it won't, but if it were to, they feel they've got over 70 senators on board, and I concur with that. The same thing in the House. There's 164 House members that support it, but they believe there's over 250 House members that would vote for it. So again, we have the critical mass in both the House and the Senate, so that's not a problem. The funny thing was when Senator Bennett did his intro and spoke about it, he said, let me tell you the kind of industries that we have. And he said, we've got the National Association of Manufacturers, Alice Cooper, and Major League Baseball all pulling together for small businesses. So again, the Alice Cooper piece was us. They then mentioned on 2 or 3 occasions the Red Alert Initiative. That was probably mentioned more in the phone call than anything else. Another piece of the puzzle of folks that are left out that probably didn't occur to you, Save Our Stages does absolutely nothing for the movie business or for the movie theater business, because they're not written into Save Our Stages. So all the movie theaters that are shuttered with all the movie theater employees are exactly aligned with the rest of us in the live event business. There was a person on the call from the live event, the theater business, today they are dropping a letter, which I will send to you. And the only name they gave me that was on the letter was the chair of the letters, Clint Eastwood. And they assured me that all the rest of the names on the letter are equally substantial. So they're coming to the plate with their weight, and they have not brought their weight to bear yet. They then said that, again, what I've told you all along, they now believe the CBO score on Restart would be right around $200 billion, same number I gave you, what, 6-8 weeks ago. They believe that $200 billion will trigger about $500 billion in loans for small business. They feel very confident that that number will work in the top line. I then asked what I've been asking all along. Okay, what about the 134.5 billion trapped in PPP? They said what I have heard for the last 4 days, which is they're going to leave that money over there, and they're going to leave that money for another tranche of PPP. Well, oddly, there is PPP within Restart, but that so they're targeting $200 billion worth of new money. We then brought up the recurring two issues that the few people that have a problem with Restart mention, and they are: first, the number of employees you can have is a threshold set at 5,000. The few people that object to it think that's way too many people for a small business. They did make me aware of something I had never thought of and never heard, which is that 5,000 number, which both senators are willing to retreat from, was set in May, and May was a long time ago. So I would like to point out to you that if and when they retreat from that 5,000 number, and there's conversation, I've suggested 500. I think they're more comfortable at 1,000. But either way, if you retreat down to a lower number, it becomes more palatable. And then the other thing is to accommodate the restaurant people, they lowered the lost income threshold from 50% to 25%. And again, I believe and they believe that as this moves forward in negotiation, that 25% lost income threshold will indeed be pushed back up. And I don't think any of us are problematic with a 50% loss of revenue threshold, because I think we all are. So to wrap up, two things. Number one, don't give up. And as I said, my phone has been blown up primarily with Democratic House members, but also with some Republican House members, and also with some senators, because there are a lot of people afraid of not being reelected, extraordinarily afraid of not being reelected. They know that if they go back home and they cannot tell their constituents, look what I did, it will put them in a tough position. And right now, they can't say that, because PPP for most of these small businesses does nothing, and they have been getting blown up about it. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is that, when will this happen? Well, I've got to give you my honest opinion. I don't think it's going to happen today. And I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow. And I don't think it's going to happen Friday. I think the negotiations are going to continue through today, through tomorrow, and through Friday. At this point, the negotiations are far too big. At the earliest, it's my belief that the two sides will come together by next Friday. At the latest, it could go on as long as sort of the end of October. The reason that you would bet against the end of October is that if you wait till the end of October, that's what, 3, 4, 5 days before the election, the damage has been done to the people that are fearful of not being reelected. So there is a big incentive to get this done sooner rather than later. And I know you're probably tired of me telling you, it's just around the corner. It's just around the corner. As I've told you in the last email, they're not functioning out of concern for us specifically, or even small business generally. They're functioning out of concern for reelection. And now they're up against the wall. And as I've shared with some of you, last Thursday, when I began getting these phone calls, was a quantum shift in my world, because for 3 months before that, every day when I got up, I called them, I called them, I called them. All of my communication was me to them, and then they responded. Starting last Thursday, it's from them to me. And again, begging me to energize the live event business, because they understand the weight of what we're doing and the weight of the reach outs that each and every one of you have done. So again, the last question you would have is what can we do next? I'm going to wait till tomorrow and let some of the dust settle from today's information. As we speak on this call, it is potentially possible that they've taken it to the floor for a vote, because Young and Bennett both left the call and went straight to the floor because they're voting on this and other things. They have cleaned up the continuing resolution to keep the government going. There's really not a lot going on with the Supreme Court nominee. That's all kind of high level stuff. And the confusion continues to be that the bill presented by the House was drawn up completely by leadership with little to no input from the rank and file. And the rank and file is revolting, for lack of a better word. They're very, very, very upset. They've got to get leadership's ear and get this thing tailored to a point that that's palatable to both sides. And someone asked me earlier on a phone call, what do I think the chances are? I would give it probably a 20% chance of anything happening between now and Friday, and probably a 40% chance of something happening between Friday and the middle of October, a 40% chance of something happening between the middle of October and the end of October, and a 20% chance of something happening after the election. The bad news is, for most of us on this phone call, or for many of us, any kind of relief beyond sort of the middle of October is too little too late. I'm aware of a lot of companies that are already beginning to go under and can't make it. The question is also asked of me, are they going to do something, anything? I feel largely certain, 80, 90, 95% certain at the least, they're going to do another 10 weeks of PPP at the very, very least. For some of you, that's of help. For some of you, that's not of help. I do believe that there will be more help later on. There is no urgency from Congress that matches our urgency. We did discuss on this call, and I discussed on a prior call, the $599 billion stuck in Main Street. I now have a lot of senators and congressmen. Yes, they're going to repurpose probably $300 billion out of the Main Street program. My greater sense is that won't happen in 2020. That's just my greater sense. I think that will happen in 2021. I think they'll look at the landscape and go, my goodness, look how terrible it is. Well, let's take this money out of Main Street and put it over here into some other program. Again, there are a number of us pushing to get that money and drag it over now because of the timing issue. But I'm being realistic. I just don't think they're going to repurpose that money, certainly before the election. And so I'll be back with you via a letter tomorrow regarding the thoughts that I collect. I've got 2 more Zooms after this, collecting information. And at this point, I'll see if there's any questions.
Michael, this is Patrick. Is there any chance that this is even going to get remotely looked at before the election? I mean, in your honest opinion, I mean, it just seems like this election and then, of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, they've got other things on their plate right now other than us.
Yes, it's being looked at now. And as I said, the people I told you, the Major League Baseball folks, the National Association of Small Business, NIBF, there's all these organizations out there. The movie business, the movie business isn't really helped by that. Half of Broadway isn't helped by that. There are a lot of people that have come to the table. Believe it or not, there's a National Cobblers Association for shoe shops. There's a watch shop association. I mean, there's all kinds of associations that have come to the table, and the movie theater people, bringing this new letter tonight with Clint Eastwood as their spokesperson. We're bringing urgency to it. Are they looking at it? Absolutely. How do I know? I'm talking to them every day. I'm now up to 32 representatives and senators that I speak to on a rotating basis, them and or their staff on a regular basis. But talking to them and making sure they deal with it in a timely fashion, Patrick, are two very different things.
Yeah, let me rephrase my question. I mean, do you think that this, I know that they're looking at it, everybody's looking at it, and they've been looking at it for quite a while. Do you foresee this, being even, voted on or any kind of negotiations going further pre-election or post-election?
Well, that goes back to the statistics I gave you. I think there's a 40% chance before end of October, 40% chance, or 20% before the end of October, 40 the first 15 days, 40 the second 15 days. That's what I think is going to happen. So to me, there's a what's that? There's a chance that it will be dealt with. Now, Young and Bennett both had just told me absolutely positively this is going to be dealt with before the election. Absolutely positively. We feel really, really well about getting Restart in there. And I do know that it has the grassroots support. It was stated on the last phone call that if Restart goes in, restaurants probably comes out, because restaurants, $120 billion really focused. But the restaurant people can feed at the Restart trough. The reason that the restaurant people want the restaurant bill is it's money like the Save Our Stages bill. It's a grant. It's money never to be repaid. And I would want that as well. But if they have to come feed at the Restart trough, they have to play the game of you can only forgive payroll and utilities and things of that nature. So there was a lot of conversation about removing the $120 billion for the restaurant folks. Again, if you had to ask my opinion, Patrick, I do still firmly believe something will pass by mid-October, because all of those congressmen and women want to get reelected. Will it include Restart? That's the great unknown.
So how do we? Oh, excuse me. Are they committed to stay in session? Don't they break for the election like around the 9th?
Well, let me get the schedule here. That's one thing I don't have committed to memory. They come and go, and they're on different schedules. I sent you out, and I don't have it memorized. I sent out that voting schedule of the possible dates for votes. If you can refer back to that, I apologize. I don't have
it. Looks on the 2nd and the Senate on the 9th. Unless they've changed that and committed to stay in.
Yeah, the House is actually working October 5 through 9, but the Senate's in session. But if they come to an agreement, it would be by unanimous consent. And unanimous consent means the leader simply says, we approve this, and she would then ask her members if they object, and if no one objects, then it passes the House, and then the Senate would vote on it. So whatever happens, I believe, would happen by unanimous consent, but they actually have days on which they vote. And we're in October, the Senate is in session 1 through 9 of October, and then the Senate's out of session. But there are opportunities on that schedule that I gave you to vote, and to vote remotely, for lack of a better word. So those are our opportunities. So it's not dead in the water, but that's why I say the middle of October. But I do still hold out hope, because all I'm getting from everybody is, yes, we're going to get this done. Now that's the rank and file. Again, both sides of the aisle are extraordinarily frustrated with leadership. Extraordinarily frustrated, and they've got to get leadership.
So do we apply pressure to leadership? I mean, do we need a focused?
Well, we are, and we have been. We are, Chris, and we have been. And if you remember, last week I sent you an email where you had to cut and paste a little teeny tiny list of folks. That was leadership. And if you got that email,
and that I did.
Take that little teeny tiny list of leadership and do it again. I mean, take it upon yourself to redo it.
Yeah, I mean, if we should be sending it again, let's send it again and keep pounding it. Like, I definitely think.
Michael, yes. It appears that we're basically at the bottom of their agenda.
Who are you calling we?
We start.
There is no agenda really other than being reelected. I'm just being brutally honest. that's the agenda.
Well, we just don't seem to be of importance to them the way it's coming across to me.
But it's not just live events. It's restaurants. It's small business. It's
right.
Yeah. It's all small business, and that is what has the rank and file scared to death. They now know this conversation. You all are not in the conversations I am. This conversation's far bigger than us. I mean, there's so many other small businesses out there that are hurting, and they're being vocal as well. And so again, don't think they're ignoring live events. They're not. You may ask, why did the restaurant industry and Save Our Stages become included in that last bill? The restaurant industry has an extraordinarily large lobby and extraordinarily connected. Plus the fact everyone understands a restaurant, don't they? Because everybody eats at a restaurant. Save Our Stages was put into that bill because it became the pet project of Chuck Schumer, and Chuck is part of leadership. So Chuck drugged that along with him, and kudos go to Dana and the folks at Save Our Stage for getting that done. So we're nobody's pet project. Again, the number for Save Our Stages is teensy compared to for small business.
Yeah. Michael, I thought it was I thought it was humorous that we got pushback from Rolling Stone for spamming them.
Yeah.
Basically saying, by sending out a bunch of emails, all you're going to do is piss people off. You're not going to help anything. Yeah. Well, we got your attention, didn't we? So sending out these emails absolutely does good things. Spamming the hell out of them absolutely does good things. They know who we are. You
have to be annoying.
That's probably better than, whatever those associations you were talking about earlier, haberdashery or whatever it was, shoemakers.
And Chris, to your point, boy, were we annoying. Now, I don't know how many of you got ugly emails or texts.
I got a few.
They know who I am. They know I'm the instigator. And boy, howdy, after I sent out that bulk email with all those addresses and whatnot, oh boy, howdy, I was not popular. And I've gotten some very, very ugly emails and some stop it's and some don't do that anymore. But it's working, it's working. That's their job. Their job is to know that we're here and to respond. But please don't think that there's going to be a moment where they suddenly care. There's not. But again, it's not live events, it's everything. So as I said, give me tonight to gather information, and I will have another plan of action tomorrow moving forward. But again, I think the chance is greater than not that we won't see any funding until the middle of October at the earliest. I hope I'm wrong. And again, the Young and the Bennett people just told me, no, we're pushing. We're going to get this done tomorrow or the next day. And but we shall see.
Hypothetically, if there is a restart program, I couldn't see the detail on what constitutes revenue. So revenue might be different for a service-based business versus a business that. Do you have any concept?
45% of what you reported last year on your income tax returns.
So it's as revenue or gross profit or
revenue.
Revenue.
So if your company grossed $10 million last year, you'll get $4.5 million.
That's significant.
It's gross income. And for most of us, because I've talked to many of you, 45% is way more than you need to get through December. But as I advised you a month ago, don't think December, think March.
Big March, yeah.
So I have to ask the ridiculous question, since we've watched all of these ridiculous things go on throughout the COVID crisis, such as bars needing to serve food to be able to stay open and putting out celery sticks next to your beer. Does everybody, if live events don't get taken care of here and it's more of a shift toward a Save Our Stages and restaurant industry, and the restaurants clearly seem to be able to be set up to make out very well in this setup, do all warehouses with lighting gear in it need to be selling hot dogs out the back door to call themselves a bistro all of a sudden?
And I say that half jokingly, but apparently these are the stupid things that seem to qualify.
No. If they set up a bit of decking and they put a light on it, then there's stage.
There you go.
Patrick, you brought up an interesting point that I've got some lawyers working on, and no one saw this coming. If you go actually read Save Our Stages, one of the words of people that can participate is producers. Well, if you read farther down, it says that you're engaged or involved in producing a live event. Well, I would argue that everyone on this phone call helps produce live events.
Dude, this phone call is a live event. So I'm a producer. There you go.
How could they say no, that Patrick, that you're not a producer of a, yes, you are, because you go in and you create the art and the magic and you're part of the producing of the event. And I've got lawyers looking at it now, but should it end up that Restart doesn't come through, but Save Our Stages does, most likely we should all go file the paperwork and declare ourselves as producers. Now, they probably intended that to mean producers, the people that, the typical role, but it isn't written that way.
Michael, is there any possibilities on having Restart language written in with Save Our Stages in some way? Is there any potential collaboration or dealing with Schumer to see if it can also meet some of our goals based on hearing how some senators and House members kind of thought Save Our Stages covered the industry as a whole?
Yeah, that's what I've been working on nonstop, is the fact that a number of people in our industry emailed me after that Heroes 2 was dropped and said, look, we're okay. They passed Save Our Stages. So there were people within our industry that didn't realize, no, it doesn't help a sound company or a light company or a pyro company. So I had to clean that up. But the same thing exists within the politicians' world. They too think, well, look, we took care of show business. Next. So that measure is getting out. And you've read the emails that I've sent you. You've sent them to them. It's very explicit that we're not taken care of by Save Our Stages. But to answer your question, yes, but it would require lifting probably 80% of the language from Restart and putting it into it. And that is the goal. And that's what we just discussed on the phone call before I got on this phone call. And that's not a new concept, Dave. That's what we're pushing for. But again, it isn't centric to entertainment. It's centric to all small business. Because as I said to start this, there's shoe stores and florists and bakeries and watch shops and things we never made, minor league baseball, movie theaters. I mean, there's a lot, excuse my French, there's a lot of pissed off people out there right now.
It seems like none of this covers freelancers.
No, freelancers are in Restart.
So Michael,
freelancers are in Restart.
Michael, is the gross versus net a change from the original language of the PPP?
What do you mean, Matt?
So like when I went to apply for a PPP, because after I took out my expenses, I was not approved for a PPP because most of my income was from W-2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
you're talking straight PPP.
Yes. Yeah. Which is the language of Restart, correct?
No. When I said there is an element of PPP in Restart, we have the same forgiveness element. Anything that you spend on payroll is forgiven and payroll related, and it's much broader because it allows you to deduct anything you do COVID related. It also allows you to deduct interest on note payments for any notes that you had prior to February the 15th.
Got it. Okay. Sorry. I just was listening to you and I was very confused at first, but it makes sense. Got it. Thank you.
In my opinion, Restart throws everybody a great big giant life buoy thing and you're okay. In my opinion, throwing us PPP is like throwing us a bag full of ping pong balls. I mean, it depends on how big you are as to whether it'll keep you afloat. And there's a few people that another round of PPP will get over the hump. but for most folks it won't. And I know that from direct conversations.
Hey, Michael, did you happen to see the post that Nick Whitehouse put up today regarding his conversation with Bernie?
Mm-mm.
He sent Bernie a letter and actually got what very much appeared to be a personal response back from Bernie Sanders. It wasn't a form letter. It was actually addressing, you know, exact points that he dealt with, whether it was from Bernie or one of his staffers, probably. But, you know, addressing Restart and a number of things that it was actually sensible. I'm not a big Bernie fan, obviously, but it was pretty cool.
Did it say anything of note?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what I would suggest is maybe go to Nick Whitehouse. I think it was on LinkedIn. I could
And apparently you have to be British to get a response from one of our representatives.
Yeah, seems to work. I will post it here in the chat.
For what it is worth, I ended up having a friend that is close friends with Kevin McCarthy. So I've had conversations with Kevin, and he's completely on board. And you know, he's in the leadership circle on the, you know, on the Republican side, and he's on board and supportive of all of this. And it was just good to get his ear and good to get his take. You know, just holistically, we've got all kinds of support. But again, they're not looking at segments. They're looking at numbers. And you know, we'll keep pushing. That's all we can do. You know, you don't lose till you quit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that one through Amy by chance, Michael?
Do what?
With Kevin? Was that through Amy?
No. It's through a personal friend of mine who called me and says, I grew up with Kevin. So small world. And I've gotten a lot of those. Again, I urge all of you, if you've got a thought or an idea or know a politician, please let me know, because getting to them one-on-one is the key to this whole thing.
Michael, would more artist endorsements be of any benefit?
The bigger they are, the better it helps. In other words, if Bono did something, or Paul McCartney, absolutely. I have given many of the people in leadership the direct links to the Dropbox from We Make Events, so they can go in and peruse it. And then, unbeknownst to you, I may have revealed this, every day I send a different movie to all of the senators. So all of the senators get a different movie. And I think they get a giggle out of it, because they're looking at Barry Manilow and Slash and Alice Cooper and Reba McEntire. But it's just a touch.
Piff the Magic Dragon didn't get it done for us?
I have not sent Bubbles yet.
Exactly.
Bubbles will close the deal right there.
Yeah, Bubbles would win.
By the way, Michael, I shared that file if you want to download it or whatever. I shared it in the chat window there. The letter back from Bernie to Nick.
Oh, okay. Download.
That's a pretty good one.
Desktop.
Hey, Michael.
Yes.
Hey, on the Main Street, you brought that up a few minutes ago, and on that approval of Claire being able to get the funding, do you take that as an indication that maybe there's a little bit better attention being paid to what has gone on and going on in our industry, or no, is that just Boston taking a look at their stuff and saying, okay, we'll fund it?
When you go for a Main Street loan, you're applying for a loan with your local lender straight up, like it was 2017. You've got to have a balance sheet, you've got to have a profit and loss statement, and you've got to have an income stream. And if you don't have those three things, you can't borrow money. And that's why there's all that money stuck in there. The people that have those things aren't in need. The people that have those things, like Amazon and Walmart and anybody in the pet business, because the pet business is through the roof, and a number of other industries, They don't need that money because they're at 150%. The people that are damaged and devastated usually have a bad balance sheet, an even worse P&L, and the real killer 99.9% of the time is there's no income stream. I've spoken to a large number of folks in our industry that may have a strong balance sheet and a strong P&L, but they have no foreseeable income stream. And they have approached Main Street and they've given them all the paperwork, and they've said, yeah, you check out on the balance sheet and the P&L, but you have no foreseeable income. How would you make your payments? And that's the end of it. The reason that Claire qualified was twofold. And I'm not revealing any Claire secrets. Number one, they've got an extraordinarily strong balance sheet. They've got an extraordinarily strong P&L. And they have, you know, the piece of their business, I don't know what you call it, but that does all of the internet, portable internet stuff. You know, they're just going gangbusters on that. What do you call it?
IT.
They do all kinds of internet distribution. I don't know how many of you know
webcasting?
that.
Claire Broadcast is what you're talking about, Michael.
Yeah. That's a robust business that, as I'm told, has doubled since this started because of the number of places. You know, they set up a field hospital or whatever, and they need Wi-Fi. Basically, it's extraordinary. They're really good at Wi-Fi distribution. Plus, they still have their integration side going, like a lot of us do. So between the integration side and the Wi-Fi distribution thing, they've got an income stream that will pay for it, and they're very well connected. But they have the single largest Main Street loan in the country at $71 million.
Well, that's all I'm asking, because when that got triggered, it was good. We've been chasing it and found, you know, the larger banks, just like you say, they wrote the program to help people, but then the criteria is contradictory to that help. 100%. And so it's been fighting through that, and I'm sure there's been a couple of reiterations on how they've tried to send back and requalify that one a couple of weeks ago, about the same time that I saw the Claire deal pop. And we've gone to 2 or 3 smaller banks, which seem to have better traction to try to take ownership, to try to go ahead and present. Got a couple in committee, so I was curious if some of that revisiting or re-looking at the qualifications that they rewrote might be able to help us better than it was, 6 weeks ago, when it was just didn't make any sense and nothing was getting funded. So that's
at this point, Rob, the big sticking point, aside from needing an income stream, is the lenders don't have an appetite for a bad loan. And when they look at most people in our industry, they start out going, yeah, this could be a bad loan. And when you start in that position, it's tough to move forward.
So what you're saying is they're selling umbrellas on sunny days, right? Or giving away umbrellas on sunny days.
They are going to repurpose that $599 billion. Again, it's my opinion based on a ton of conversation, not anytime soon.
Thanks, Michael. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thanks, Rob.
You bet.
Anyone? Get quiet occasionally.
And again, I think Lynn, somebody mentioned this earlier, it wasn't Lynn, Restart and PPP will both make funds available for 1099 people, for freelance people. And that's one other thing that is in, I'm sorry, so much out there. One other thing that is in HEROES, several other things. HEROES does restore the $600 enhanced unemployment. It does provide for $1,200 per person. It does sort of recast EIDL loans for those of you that had those. And those are elements I think that most people agree on. I think those are elements that will move forward. I don't find anybody that's against the $600 enhanced unemployment. I think it will move forward, but again, the question is when, because people are starving as we speak. But those are elements that have agreement across the board in terms of what our industry needs. Trying to think if there's anything else important. And I don't know if Stephanie Freed's on here. I don't see her, but as you know, in these things, I keep assuring Stephanie that there's people way bigger than us pushing in for enhanced unemployment. And this latest House bill is again, is proof of that. It's in there.
Thank you.
Well, thanks
So
for the
it's a
work,
big-
man.
It's a big hurry up and wait game at this point, right?
Like it has been. You know, and that last, was it Friday night when I sent out that plethora of little emails? I was here at my desk until 11:20. And then I went home and was working my phone at home till 1:30, 1:45, because there was that much action going on. And a lot of it, as I told you, was from the legislators reaching out to me, because I think they were more upset than we were. We're starving to death. They want to get reelected. And those two things do line up. So again, I urge you in the short term, take that little list I sent you. That's leadership. Send them a personal email. Send them 2 personal emails. Have everybody you know send them a personal email. You know, don't wait on me to send you an instruction. You've got that little tiny list, and that is leadership.
Yeah, we got to hit that then.
I can tell you that everybody at my company on a daily basis emails the senators in our state. We've been doing it every day for the last 4 months. Whether it's a personal email, we've had phone calls with Feinstein and her office repeatedly. Restart's still in that vocabulary with them, but it's not gaining traction is the problem. So it does work. You just have to work on it. It's an everyday thing.
And I think the reason, from all the conversations I've had, the few folks that don't gain traction, as you put it, for Restart, it is the 5,000 person threshold, because they simply don't view that as a small business. And I would have to say, neither do I. The federal government defines a small business as 500 or fewer employees. So again, and I urge Young and Bennett today, get out in front of this. Tell the world today, okay, we're willing to drop that number to whatever they're comfortable with. 1,000's the number, I think, but that might get some Dianne Feinsteins on board. But again, we're not battling that battle of getting more people on board. We have enough. We're battling the battle of getting the language in the bigger bill. Any other questions or comments?
Just to say thanks for all your hard work. It's a very frustrating system we seem to be in, for whatever it's worth, but thank you. And thanks for all the updates. We do what we can.
That's my pleasure.
Generally, I feel useless and helpless against the government, and I think you found a way to make me feel like I can make a difference.
I think I've told you all before, when I started this, we're all in show business. We're not stupid. Best way to get response is, hi, I'm Bill Smith. I work for Bon Jovi. It isn't the Bill Smith that gets the email returned. It's the Bon Jovi that gets the email returned. So that's how I got all these relationships. I started out with senators and Congress people, and I mentioned all of the 3 or 4 acts that I knew would get their attention. And lo and behold, they responded. I can't tell you how many people I've promised tickets to Jimmy Buffett at this point. You work the angles, don't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael, this is Randy. Can you send me that link to the movie you mentioned earlier?
To the movie?
Well, to the thing I can send that I can send to artist management.
Right. You mean to the file, the We Make It Lynch file? Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Randy, this is John, dude. I'll send it over to you. I have it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah,
and Michael, on a non this, how did the Garth live stream thing go?
Huh?
Garth just posted photos of him doing a live stream in front of all these TVs.
Oh, yeah. Oddly enough, I have no idea what that was. We do his lighting, and Moo TV does his video, and I saw that yesterday, and I reached out to Scott Scoville at Moo TV, and I said, did you do this? And he said, I've never heard about it. I just haven't circled, but I don't know where he did it.
It looked really cool. So I was going to give you props, but never mind.
It wasn't us. Any other questions or comments?
Hey, Michael, that targeted list you sent, do you know what day you sent that on? I'm just trying to find that email.
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday, okay.
I can resend it to everybody. I can just send that list with nothing else in it if that helps.
Yeah, a couple people were asking for that on the chat.
Yeah, I'll title it the leadership list.
Yeah, that would help. Thank you.
Title it breakfast email.
I'll send it out when we hang up on this call.
So I just posted in the chat. If anybody needs it, the activities splash page is changed to a Dropbox link that contains all of Michael's latest calls to action, as well as all of the attachments that go into his email. So it's an easy place to collect that information when you can't necessarily put an attachment up on Facebook. So we have it there for that specific reason. Currently, we also have any of the calls to action, which has the list of all of the representative emails, as well as the mainstream media emails that went out just the other day.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you all very much. I'm going to go back to what I'm doing.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. Appreciate
Michael.
y'all.
Thanks, Michael.
Michael. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the work, man.
I'll keep your chin up. We'll get there. Thank y'all. Keep sending emails.
One
Thanks.
step one in front of the other. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Thank you again.
Bye-bye.
So I feel like we've gotten over the work part of today's call, and now we're in recess and we can have fun and exhale and have a drink. Cheers, everyone. Whoever's got 'em,
Cheers.
clink them, you know.
Clink.
Hey, Marcel, I wanted to jump in and congratulate Rob Roth for his daughter getting married.
Yeah, I saw
those
those.
that in there.
That was
Very
awesome.
beautiful, Rob, and congratulations on that.
Yeah, who created that creature? Not you.
We all know who created that.
Yes, Christina.
Well, thanks everybody. Thanks so much for that. Yes, that's been a bit of a project for the last little while here.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And they are happily in Key Largo of all places right now.
Wow.
But
Good
the
time.
weather's a whole lot better than it's been here, so.
It ain't that much better. We're in typical summer pattern where it's like torrential storms every afternoon, but the mornings are nice.
Yeah, well, it'll be 44 degrees here tonight, so.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Send some of that rain our way.
Did you say 44? That's delightful.
In Atlanta, 44 degrees?
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of an early cold snap.
There's a cold front in northern Florida and Georgia.
Nice.
I mean, it was, the lows were more like in the high 70s 3 days ago. So, little jet stream from Canada action.
So the weekly question I love to ask is, does anyone have a gig? I know, Matt, you did another one, right?
No.
I thought you did.
I do.
Who?
But
What do you got?
I'm doing a video shoot for a 9-day video shoot for Amway next week in Grand Rapids.
Amway's still around?
Be my first time on a plane in 6 months.
Really? I keep forgetting that most people haven't flown, and I've done a bunch of flights for these races with my kid, but
Yeah, most people haven't even gotten on a plane.
So weird. I haven't been on a plane since March 14th.
It was March 15th for me.
So very strange. But they actually had the CEO of American Airlines on CNN, I think, today, and he was talking about how safe it is to actually fly on the planes and how they have the HEPA filters in there and it recirculates every 2 minutes. And with masks, the infection rate between flight crews is next to nothing. They usually are getting it outside of flying on a plane. So
Yeah,
that's kind of
actually
reassuring.
airflow
course,
flying on planes is actually really great.
Of course, the CEO from the airlines told you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
next to each other like this. Like
I
it makes
believe,
it
say like it's horrible. Don't fly on our airlines.
Yeah, you know, Matt,
Yeah.
I was talking to the CEO of Royal Caribbean today, and he said cruises are super safe. And
Yeah, ask Disney about that.
And the cocktails are nice. Yeah.
No, I mean, he didn't just say it. Like, they showed the stats, and the stats
Yeah.
are pretty.
Yeah. No, I believe it. I mean, I've been on a bunch of flights and I never felt unsafe, but I've seen pictures that people have posted where, you know, everyone's stacked up and stuff. And, you know, I have a friend, like I've only still got like 5 or 6 friends who have had this. And one of them was a cruise ship performer who got it in the airport on the way back from the cruise ship. And, you know, he said, as terrible as cruise ships are supposedly, you know, the bad rap that they're getting and everything, I actually got it in the airport and I know exactly when I got it. So
I'm more concerned about
the airports are worse than the airplanes.
I'm more concerned about the travel there and back than I am about the gig. The producers are being really careful about isolation and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be fine, bud.
Yeah, I
You'll
mean,
be fine.
Delta's still doing the middle seat kills.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I wouldn't wear
Southwest,
like a plane. Like if you're gonna wear gloves or something, like the airports are the disgusting places, and because they're maintained by randoms. You know, like the planes themselves are probably fine.
I gotta say the
Randy.
airports are filled with masked people, and there's hand washing stations absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
At least LaGuardia is. So
Good.
if you want to stay safe, you can.
It definitely hasn't been. It hasn't been an issue for me. You know, and I know some people are less comfortable than I am, but I had lunch with a friend of mine yesterday who made me eat outside in 100-degree weather and 98% humidity, and I'm okay with that. I mean, if that's what makes you feel comfortable.
I mean, for Florida people, doesn't that make you feel comfortable?
Isn't that beachside dining? Come on.
No,
I'd
no.
rather that than going indoors and eating. Let's be real.
I've been
Why?
eating indoors, like I eat in restaurants almost every day since they opened.
Especially something about Florida right now. I'm just not.
Yeah, Florida, I don't trust. I'm about to
No.
go have the decision. I'm about to have the decision whether or not to eat indoors at Del Frisco's.
That's because you're young. As soon as you're 60, Florida all of a sudden becomes an amazing place. You know, you all end
don't
up,
they have?
you
don't they have
bag on
those
it when you're
posters?
30, and then you show up here when you're 60. It just happens.
Listen, Marcel's credit, he has been eating out quite a bit in Florida and has maintained.
Supporting restaurants.
You know what? I as silly as I think it is that you have to wear a mask for the 12 feet to get to your table and then the 12 feet back from your table, I do that because I don't do it because necessarily it makes me feel any safer, but it makes other people feel better. So I do it just to comply, and I'm okay with that. And
Well, yeah, I mean, wearing a mask protects other people, not you.
Correct.
Like, you understand that concept.
yes or no, I don't know.
Mask is for other people, it's not for yourself.
12 feet to get to my table and 12 feet to get back to the door. I don't know that it's going to make a big difference, Chris, but the point that I'm making is, and I think this is what all good people should do, regardless of who you vote for, I couldn't care less, is make other people feel comfortable. You know,
Yeah.
if the rest of you on this call are going to feel good about me wearing a mask, I'm good with that. I'll wear a mask. I don't have any problem. Just like, you know, when I go to Canada, I take my shoes off at people's doors. You know, you
Right.
take your shoes off at the doorway when you walk in. In Florida, you don't do that, right?
Yeah. In Japan, you do that.
Yeah.
In my house in Florida, you leave your shoes at the door.
Isn't there sand
Well,
in the entire
I've heard some stories, Marcia. You don't even bring clothing into your room.
Well, you know, I'm just saying in a normal day, I do have house shoes and I do have outdoor shoes. So given the daily circumstance, no, I don't like to put I don't do that up in the Catskills either. It's not geography. It's not wanting your outdoor shoes.
Well, I've actually heard.
On your house.
I read something, you know, the 10 top ways not to get COVID, and one of them was not to wear your shoes in the house, you know, because you're tracking stuff from stores or whatever.
It's not even about COVID. It's about not wanting to schlep dirt because I hate to clean. So the less dirt I track in my house, the less times a month I have to mop the floor.
I have a housekeeper. So, I mean, she cleans the floor. You know, if I happen to step in dog shit and I bring it in the house, I say, you know what? Can you come over tomorrow? I got dog shit in my house.
Well, some of us aren't that lucky. So anyway.
Marcel, I have to ask, are you married?
Me?
No, Marcel.
I was, yeah. Who asked that?
Eric did.
Oh. Are you?
Yes.
Oh.
If I tracked dog shit in the house and then called the housekeeper, I wouldn't be married anymore.
Well, see, I live by myself.
Really? Knowing Anastasia, yes. By the way, Eric, nice job on LaGuardia changing the subject for a minute.
Thank you.
Bravo. Bravo.
We're really proud of it. Thanks.
Very nice. Yeah.
We'll have a lot more stuff for everybody to see soon.
Yeah, send pictures.
Yeah, there'll be a bunch. We promise. I've got a whole team that can't wait to get it out.
Good. We want to do a story.
Yep. You're on the list, I promise.
Great. Thank you.
So who else has got gigs? This is good conversation. I like these positive
I got
ones.
I got a gig from some idiot named Chris McMean this week.
So
I don't know if I'm thankful for it, but
what, to watch
they
dogs?
called me to prep.
Thanks, McMean. I'm happy to report
Chris is our
that
pimp,
gig
man.
going
He
on.
put me on.
Hey Matt, if you want to go prep a bunch of lights tomorrow.
Well, I got plans now.
Ooh.
Sure.
I mean, what are you doing, Matt? Matt, what are you doing that's so important?
Well,
Binge watching CNN.
No, what? No.
Matt,
No,
come
I
on,
actually-
talk to us. Tell us.
What? No, I have a thing not related.
You're
to
thinking of a lie right now, so just tell us what you're doing.
I have a dentist appointment. All right, get off.
That's it.
Yeah. You know how long it took to get a dentist appointment?
Sensitive.
Almost as long as it took you to tell us about it.
Damn.
You know what? I hate you all. Sick burn. Sick burn.
Tough crowd today.
Very.
I'm happy to report that we've got some gigs going on, which is good. It's
what?
I have a Live Nation gig tomorrow.
Hey.
Not Live Nation. Gig.
Cool.
What's that, Pat?
It's they're doing an outside ride and drive where they're going to have like art exhibits up for one of the car companies, and they drive around for slow miles an hour, 5 miles an hour through this track and exit, and nobody gets out of their car. And so,
Did you see the thing that they did in Nashville? It's very similar to that lighting video.
Probably.
Install.
I haven't seen the picture, but somebody was referring to that today. So yeah, it's day and night, and it's a gig. So
I don't get it.
hopefully
Though. Why would
lots
you
of media.
drive around and do what?
They look at different art exhibits, and it's art and light immersive exposure experience or something.
I think what Core did is they did a race. It was Core, I think, LMG, somebody else. They built like
it's not that big. No.
Yeah. I mean,
take that by about 2%.
Got it.
Hey, any money is good money right now. I keep telling people, like.
Still waiting to get paid from Fashion
You
Week.
want some pipes? I got pipes.
That's funny. Pearson, what do you got?
We just wrapped today first segment of Dell World for their pre-tapings, and we're about to finish the rest of that this coming weekend. So if I fly out to Austin on Friday, be there through Wednesday, then go from there straight up to Seattle. We've got some stuff for T-Mobile for their new announcements. And then from there up to Chicago for another corporate thing. In the midst of all of that, we've got a shoot with Aoki, DJ Aoki, that we're putting together.
Cool.
So there's a few things popping up.
Awesome.
Wow.
Excellent. Excellent.
Putting a lot of people to work, which is good.
Yeah, that's the key is like let's get people to work. Like a couple gigs I've suggested they hire like twice the number of people they list. I'm like, you need more people right now,
Well, so we've gone through a lot of that. I mean, particularly on the T-Mobile project, I'm on the producing team for that, and they, when we start looking at the distancing that needs to happen, the amount of work that actually needs to happen, and all the constraints that go into that, you often find yourself at a point where you are actually hiring double the people because you're going to have to start doing around the clock to break things up in shifts. And we've gone through that both on T-Mobile and Dell. Thankfully, everybody is taking it all very seriously. So it's not just the clients who
Sure, yeah.
the producers are taking it very seriously and adhering. And it's presented a lot of good opportunities to be able to put a lot of people to work because we've had to have these extended schedules so that we can't have everybody crammed in at the same time. So for that part,
is Aoki doing his shoot in your like VIP shipping container thing that you and Gumper are doing?
Ironically enough, there's a special version that might be utilized for that purpose. Yeah.
Perfect. I actually had a conversation with Andrew yesterday about that. Very cool. I mean, so they've turned these hospital containers into now mega VIP hotel room kind of containers that can be set up on a moment's notice, portable.
That's going to really help for Firefest too. I'm telling you, it's going to be awesome.
Exactly.
Patrick, how are you and Gumper's mod things doing?
Actually, we met with the mayor of North Las Vegas yesterday, who came and paid us a visit for almost an hour and a half. Was very interested in it. It's that whole thing is going quite well, but it's a giant hurry up and wait game because it's a very, very different business from the entertainment business. You're dealing with everything in the government, so that when you're dealing with government agencies, if you've ever been in the military or ever worked for a government agency, the first thing you are taught is patience, because everything takes fucking forever. And with all of this, it's budget approvals that often take many months to go through. So all of those have started processing that, and now it's sitting and waiting. So
are those
But
adaptable so you can put like a stage on top of them? So sometimes you can rent them as a hospital, and then other times you'll rent them as a stage.
Chris, whatever you want to fucking do with them, we'll make them do it. Trust me.
You know what though? That he's got a really great idea there, because you could write them off as stages under the Save Our Stages thing.
We all could live in there.
I'm going to be selling fucking hot dogs out of the side of the stage, gaining all the revenue from
Under the stage, you can have one be your dimmer beach over on the right side of the mods. Dimmer
double
beach.
dip right here. This is a good idea. That was a good one, Chris.
Well, ironically enough, this whole thing really did start from a container version that was being put together as an art gallery, but also as a VIP front of house position, so that these can be turned into a full experience for all the sycophants that want to have.
Sorry, is this a pod, a modular object of some kind? Is it?
Yeah, this is the.
Yeah,
it's right. It's Gumper's background.
Yeah, if you look at Andrew's background, it actually is that. These are.
You know what I see? I see crew housing at Coachella now.
That's what I see.
Well,
That's already in the talks. Yep.
We have crew mod. So this has turned into a whole thing. So we have different versions of these now. So Lux mods are the versions of these that we've redesigned to do on festival site, uber luxurious hotels. So it's basically the ability to go into something, say you take Coachella, for instance, where you're in a fairly remote location in regards to the number of people coming into that area, gobbling up all the hotels that are even remotely close by. So the ability to have really next level glamping on site is very attractive to a lot of people that are willing to spend ridiculous amounts of money.
So it's what Fire Festival meant to be.
Yeah.
Much so, yeah.
They need this at Burning Man. You could call them burn mods.
Well, precisely.
And is there a production team version so that people can just
Nice. And so part of that is that you have to put both hotel and resort staff in there.
Cheers, Matt.
And you need crew stuff. So
I'm in.
We made crew mod, which is got all bunks set up in it, and
so it's just like the nice mod, but douchier.
Exactly.
Douche mod is VVIP.
The douche mod.
Go away with words, Marcel.
These could actually take.
How are you not in charge of marketing?
Structure, building a stage.
Hey, you know what? In the lobby, we could have a bar, and it could be called Dearson's, and then the restaurant could be called Gumper's.
And they give you celery with your drink.
No, honestly, if they could take the weight, you could put a stage on top of them. That'd be amazing for equipment
weight,
housing.
Oh yeah.
They can be stacked 13 high on a containerized ship. So
Who really wants to live under the stage, though, Matt?
Every stagehand that hangs a
hammock.
Hammock.
Hammock, yeah.
When you take them to a remote location, what do you do for water and electric and stuff?
You have multiple options for that. One is if there is a public supply for both water and sewage, you can tap into those things, or you're doing it as portable. So you see some of the pictures on the website. Actually,
What he's saying is you steal it. Like you run an orange extension cord to the, auto body shop across the street or whatever, right?
It's like when we used to do raves in Brooklyn, we get a couple of Hell's Angels to dig under the train tracks, tap into the third rail.
Just put solar panels on it. It's
Actually, I am working on one version for an install in South Africa that wants solar.
Wow.
That makes great
There's
sense.
actually there's this woman who in Puerto Rico is using shipping. She's an architect, and I saw it on like CNN Heroes or something. But she's building shipping container homes in Puerto Rico that can withstand wind, hurricanes, and if floods happen again, they can just shut it, completely lock it down, and your entire house is safe.
So,
And it's all off
Matt,
the grid.
I have a question. Like with your cable company, do you have like 1 terabyte of internet service and 1 channel, CNN?
No.
Is
I
that
watch
it?
more than
Is that your
CNN.
deal for like $50 a month or something?
I watch more than CNN.
Careful, CNN's a trigger
Oh,
word for
Marcel.
I
Marcel,
even put on
that's a
Fox
trigger
News
word.
to yell at something.
Yeah.
When I'm in a good mood, I put on Fox News and start yelling at the TV.
Yeah.
Every holiday.
I only did that
Dude, the
last.
Simpsons are great, man. I love Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole containerized housing solution is very interesting. We've gone through it recently. It actually costs about as much as a regular fucking house to do at the end of the day. Reusing shipping containers is kind of a dumb thing because it doesn't really work. And by the time you have to put the full infrastructure inside.
Andrew, quick, mute him fast. Sorry, did I say that out loud? I thought I was in a private chat.
You don't use shipping containers.
Andrew, your sales department has gone rogue.
Oh no, that's he's saying we build them from scratch though.
Yeah, we don't use shipping containers. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because by the time you start
Realistic material.
the interior insulation in the thing, you're eating up all the space inside. It just starts becoming a trash compactor.
Wait, hang on 1 second, Patrick. Not that you're not interesting, but Cosmo has just come in and he's come here just to tell us all about AC/DC. It's a scoop.
Ladies and gentlemen, Marcel Fairbairn has a bigger name on the other line. Let me introduce you to Cosmo Wilson.
Cosmo, it's perfect timing because Patrick really had the crowd sleeping.
Ooh!
Oh, shit.
Cosmo, you're sounding.
There's a rowdy group here today, Cosmo. Welcome.
Sorry I missed it, but I actually had a gig, so.
What?
I was doing. You all know Jerry Harvey. Well, his wife has a club here, about 10 minutes from my house, and I put a little lighting system in there for her today, so it looks great.
Very cool.
And thanks to you, Marcel, I'm going to get some of those lights probably in a week or two to put in those.
Nice.
So I've got nothing to report about AC/DC except what you
Come
already
on,
did.
man. You posted it on Facebook. It must be true.
It is true, but when, I don't know.
Hey, Cosmo, you need an L2?
Cosmo, for those of us who aren't using Facebook anymore, what happened?
It's well, you know, as AC/DC does, they push out a little bit of information a little bit at a time, and there's basically now you know all the members of the band. That was a secret, but now Brian Johnson is back, Phil Rudd is back, Cliff Williams has come out of retirement, so it's all the original except for Malcolm, of course, and Stevie Young, their nephew, is playing guitar. So
Yeah, I was going to ask you who was that Stevie Young, but I guess it's a nephew, like you said.
Yeah, it's a nephew. Yeah, he's been in other bands. He played on the last tour. You know so he's been there before. He's definitely not Mal, but he does a great job.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're supposed to be out on the road. I think we're supposed to go out next month, but that obviously didn't happen. So, I'm hoping that the album will be released at some point, and we will. I don't see them booking anything until they the venues start booking them. We'll see what happens.
Until there's a promoter that's out of hiding.
Now, Cosmo, what about Axl Rose? Where does he fall in this picture?
He doesn't fall in at all. He was brought in basically when Brian had his ear problem. He was brought in to finish the tour, and that was it. And he did his job, and now he's.
I was shocked actually how well he did.
He did a great job. He did the old stuff really good, but it's back to the old band. Thankfully, I'm happy.
Yeah. No, I didn't expect him to do as well as he did, and plus he did the whole Guns N' Roses stadium thing and the AC/DC thing at the same time, and at his age with the burnout that he's had and all the, I mean, he's obviously been abusive to himself, so it's just amazing. I was really, really impressed by how good he sounded in both bands, actually.
Plus, he'd broken his foot before the tour started.
Yeah, that was weird. Sitting in a throne singing. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Well, thanks for nothing, Cosmo. Jesus.
Yeah, you got myself all excited, like he was fully aroused, and then you just let him down.
Yeah, I thought you were going to pull out like a notepad and start writing down the guest list and, the whole deal. Jesus.
Well, I could have lied.
Hey,
lied to us, Cosmo.
We're going out in May. Does that sound better?
Yeah.
I was hoping for January. Could you at least make it a good lie? Oh, man.
We're doing the rescheduled Coachella. How's that?
Nice.
What's that, 2022? Yeah.
2028.
Jesus. I'm starting to feel good about being old because, I'm just not going to have to see the end of it at that point, right?
I keep saying all my friends who could retire are retiring right now. It's like,
yeah, it's true. That's true.
Do I have enough to retire? I'm out.
Well, and you start like moving that line, you used to think you needed this to retire. Now you're going, I can do it for this. Instead of a house, I'll buy one of those container things from Pearson until you realize it's like twice.
I was going to say,
house.
The good news is housing prices are going to drop, so you'll all be fine.
When? They haven't here. I mean, not where I live anyway.
As soon as the mortgage crisis hits.
I understand rents are already down in New York. A friend of mine's daughter moved to a nicer, bigger apartment over the weekend for less rent.
Yeah,
they're
down like 15%. Like even in my building, they're dropping it. Like apartments that used to be 2,500, they're almost at, they're like 21, and they can't open them yet or get them rented. So they're going to drop it again.
Wow.
Might be
I know a
time
lot
to
of companies
going
are
back to the city.
their commercial rental space because of how many people are still working from home.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm looking forward to renegotiating my rent for lower. It's going to be great.
I'm in
Matt,
front
what
of
street
some
on
commercial
Staten
real
Island do you
estate
live
right
on?
now that might be up for grabs soon.
Oh.
You never know.
I wouldn't want to be in the commercial real estate
It's a
business.
former Dearson location shoot.
Commercial real estate, I think, is right up there with our industry right now. It's.
Oh yeah.
You
Not
say it
the
was a
place.
former Dearson location shoot?
Yeah, weren't you and Justin here in 2018? Right out here on, where am I, 48th and 6th?
Where are you? Is it Bryant
I'm
Park?
in front of Fox. I'm going to Del Frisco's.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
love Del Frisco's. Marvelous
Yeah,
restaurant.
well, it's the first night of indoor dining.
Yeah, sadly,
Uh-huh.
they're not doing that this year. We were all set to go in, and they pulled the plug. I'm completely shocked. Actually, that's not.
Actually, yeah,
Out of everybody that
Well-
would do something stupid, it'd be Fox. Happy to take
Right.
their.
Well, they're worried about their talent,
Yeah, I imagine.
Yes.
I imagine the legal department had that conversation.
The Sirius XM studios are in the building that Del Frisco's is attached to, and I don't even think that they've reopened yet. Their offices are still closed.
It was the best part of working on that gig outdoors at Fox. You walk over to Del Frisco's every day for dinner.
Right? What a great restaurant.
Yep. Well, they're out. I'll show you their plaza in a second. They're they put up a tent.
Oh,
But there's a big sign that says dining room now open. I can't go to the bar, but I can definitely go to the
Harris,
dining room.
we need to sell them some real lighting for the tent because I cannot stand the tent
Oh,
lighting.
that tent was that tent there 2 days ago, dude?
No. It
No.
wasn't.
Yeah,
That's
it was there.
horrible.
I was there on Saturday. It was there.
Oh yeah.
Chris, weren't we there? When were we there? Today's Tuesday, Wednesday. I guess we were there
Monday.
Friday,
We were
Monday.
there Monday on Yom Kippur.
I didn't notice the tent.
Eric,
Eric,
Del Frisco's next week. Let's go. Let's get a group.
Matt, pick a day. I'll be working at Christie's auction house. I think we're out at 8 or 9 every night.
Done.
Sure.
It's my we got to celebrate next week. So
Okay, you're buying.
it's my
What are you
birthday, you dick.
Oh, well, then you're definitely buying. Get all those checks from like your grandparents and shit.
What?
Like he's 10, he gets all the envelopes with cash in them.
It's his bar mitzvah.
All right, folks, I think we've now degenerated to a
We've
point
gone
of
down the rabbit
no return. So
I did that. That's my fault. I'm sorry, Marcel.
no, it's all good. I appreciate it. I actually I don't like the calls with content. I like the shit calls where we're talking about dog shit on the floor and stuff. Those are fun.
But
Next
we did
week,
all
we'll be
everything.
roasting
Let's
Matt.
go dining.
kidding, so.
Yeah. All right, folks. See you next week.
Okay, everybody,
Thanks,
good night.
Marcel.
I'll see you next week.
Great to
Bye,
see
guys.
everybody work.
Bye, everybody.
Be well.
Bye, everyone.